So, I mean, after being in a band with Axl, it's like, who am I going to get, you know?
$500 million. That's the price tag on the lie they sold you in 2016. The stadiums were screaming, sure, but kill the volume for a second. Look at that stage. You won't see rock gods up there. You'll see hostages. The mighty Guns N' Roses? Just a gold-plated corpse. They ripped the heart out of that beast way back in 1991. And the man holding the scalpel? He wasn't there. His name is Izzy Stradlin. He is the architect. He built this coliseum on heroin and riffs, let the animals loose in the cage, and then he torched the blueprints. So, here's the $1 million question. Why did the man who built the empire choose silence over the paycheck? To understand the murder, you gotta know the victim. But to understand Guns N' Roses, you need to forget everything Rolling Stone magazine ever fed you. They'll tell you it was Axl Rose's band. That's a lie. This was the band Izzy Stradlin allowed Axl to front. It started in Lafayette, Indiana. Looks like a town on a map. Feels like a graveyard for the living. Izzy and Axl didn't run from there chasing fame. They ran to keep from dying of boredom. But while Axl was running from his demons, Izzy was just looking for a place where he could smoke and play loud. 1980s, LA, was drowning in plastic. Glam rockers spent more time on hairspray than rehearsals. Izzy looked at that circus and decided to sell them some real dirt. He wasn't looking for the best musicians, he was looking for accomplices. Izzy dragged Slash in, even though they hated each other's guts at first sight. Izzy found Duff. He built this machine out of rusty parts stolen from the scrapyard of history. Axl was the nuclear warhead, ready to blow at any second. Slash was the detonator, but Izzy Stradlin? He was the hand hovering over the red button. Look at the early interviews. While the rest of them are screaming, interrupting, acting like animals, Izzy is in the corner. Cigarette hanging off his lip, shades on, wearing the absolute calm of a hitman. He doesn't say a word, but you feel it. He's the boss, the gypsy, the drifter, the quiet strategist in a room full of lunatics. Critics love to talk about Slash's solos, but here's the truth. Cut the solo, the song survives. Cut Izzy's riffs, and the whole thing crumbles to dust. Mr. Brownstone, Patience, Paradise City, Don't Cry, that's not just a track list. That's Izzy Stradlin's DNA. While Slash was scorching the stadiums, Izzy was pouring the concrete foundation. He brought the swagger of the Stones and the danger of the Sex Pistols. He made them cool, not theatrical cool, like Kiss. Actual dangerous. He was the only man on the planet Axl Rose was afraid to lose. Axl could tell managers, producers, and fans to go to hell. But when Izzy spoke, Axl shut up. It was a strange, toxic chemistry. One was fire, the other was ice. They built an empire on bad blood, narcotics, and cheap whiskey. They were the kings of the jungle. It felt like the party would last forever. But every architect has a fear. The fear that the building he raised will come crashing down on his head. Izzy was the first to spot the cracks in the foundation. While the others were drowning in a sea of heroin and flattery, Izzy started to see clearly. He realized the monster he stitched together had grown up. And now, that monster was looking at its creator, and it was hungry. The industry burns millions just to keep the smoke and mirrors in place. They want you staring at the airbrushed poster, so you don't see the scars underneath. Hit that subscribe button to keep this investigation alive. It's you and me against the spin machine. Your support is the only ammo we've got. Now, strap in. Let's see exactly how Izzy finally reached for the ejection handle. August 1989. U.S. air flight. Izzy Stradlin isn't just flying over America, he is orbiting Pluto. A chemical cocktail of booze, codeine, and Valium has turned his brain into static noise. When the stewardess tells him the bathroom is occupied, Izzy doesn't hear a refusal. He unzips and relieves himself right in the galley, all over the beverage carts. That wasn't just hooliganism. That was an SOS signal, scrawled on the carpet of an airliner. When the wheels touched down in Phoenix, the welcoming committee wasn't fans, it was federal agents. The cuffs clicked shut. But the real prison wasn't the holding cell. The real prison was his own skin. That night, Izzy stared into the mirror at the station. The reflection staring back wasn't the cool rhythm guitarist of Guns N' Roses. It was a corpse. Pale, hollow, rotting from the inside out. He had two roads left: punch out early like Sid Vicious, or kill the rock star to save the human being. Izzy chose to breathe. He went to ground in Indiana. He didn't just quit the drugs, he kicked them cold turkey. He sweated the poison out in absolute hell just to clean his blood. But when the fog in his head finally lifted, he saw the terrifying truth. He came back to LA, clean, ready to work on Use Your Illusion. But he found that the band he built had mutated. While Izzy was drying out in Indiana, Axl Rose had seized the crown. The studio was no longer a workshop, it was the throne room of a mad king. Recording became an endless nightmare of retakes and tantrums. But the real hell started on tour. Sobriety became Izzy's curse. Before, the drugs helped him ignore the chaos. Now, he saw every crack in the wall. He watched Axl holding stadiums hostage, showing up 2-3 hours late. 50,000 people losing their minds with rage. Slash and Duff marinating in vodka just to survive the wait. And Axl? He's backstage watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in his dressing room. For Izzy, a man who valued professionalism above all else, this was physically painful. He realized he wasn't playing in a rock band anymore. He was playing in a traveling freak show. So, he drew a line in the sand. He refused to ride in the same bus as the band. While the others turned their limos into a bacchanalia with groupies and dealers, Izzy drove behind them in a separate van. Just him, his dog, and the silence. Picture that scene. The endless highway. Up ahead, the death train called Guns N' Roses is tearing down the track, leaving destruction in its wake. And behind them, at a safe distance, drives their creator. He looked at his friends the way a visitor at the zoo looks at predators behind glass. He wasn't part of the pack anymore. He was a witness. And sitting in that van, watching the taillights of Axl's bus fade into the distance, Izzy realized one thing. He was the only sober passenger on the Titanic, and he knew exactly where the iceberg was. Summer 1991. Guns N' Roses aren't a band anymore. They are a transnational corporation. MTV had them on a 24-hour intravenous drip. The cash wasn't flowing, it was drowning them. Anyone else would kill to stay on that summit. Izzy looked at the golden throne and saw an electric chair. The Use Your Illusion tour was a meat grinder. Every night, Izzy stood on stage feeling alone. Slash was hiding in a chemical fog. Axl was holding stadiums hostage, acting like a dictator. Izzy was the only one hearing the bones snap. August 31st, 1991, Wembley Stadium. 72,000 people. Watch the footage. Izzy's body is playing the chords, but his ghost is already packing its bags. Axl wanted to be Elton John writing operas. Izzy just wanted a garage band. His exit wasn't a tantrum, it was a surgical amputation. He didn't scream, he didn't fight. He starved Axl of his favorite drug, conflict. In November 1991, at the absolute peak of their power, Izzy pulled the plug. Management panicked. They threw millions at him. Private jets. Luxury. Izzy didn't blink. He wasn't negotiating a deal. He was buying his life back. He looked at a check with 6 zeros and saw the price of his soul. They replaced him with Gilby Clarke. A nice guy, but a hired gun. A plastic aftermarket part in a living engine. The day Izzy walked, GNR died. The body kept moving, cashing checks, but the soul had left the building. That dirty, dangerous groove evaporated. Axl spent the next 15 years alone in his castle, chasing a ghost. But Izzy didn't care. He committed the perfect crime. He stole his life back from the devil. 2016, the reunion tour. Axl and Slash raked in $500 million. Izzy, absent. They offered him a sideman's wage while they split the equity pie. Izzy tweeted exactly once. They didn't want to split the loot. Then, he went dark. Look at them now. Axl is gasping for air, chasing notes he lost decades ago. Slash is a living logo, a caricature in a top hat. They are trapped in a golden cage, sentenced to play Sweet Child O' Mine until they drop. And Izzy? He's in his garage, wrenching on bikes. He looks 10 years younger. That's the face of a man who kept his receipt. Axl got the empire, Slash got the fame. Izzy hit the real jackpot, freedom. He proved you can build the world's most dangerous machine, light the fuse, and just walk away. He was the only one smart enough to leave the party before the lights came on.